Yo, what's up? Hello, it's Chillmonger starting the video. I set this for 10:30 p.m., but that was a mistake by me. Instead, it should have been 10:30 a.m. And I get down for YouTube. Zack Snyder and the Seven Dwarfs. So there's two topics I want to touch on just because of some things that I've been watching on my feed pop up. A couple of videos on this dwarf situation when it comes to Snow White, okay? So if you don't know what it is, most people were born, they're above 5 feet. And then there's this small community of people. They're not bound together by genetic or anything. It's just an anomaly. It's a rare occurrence where people are born and they're short. Some people call it little people. The technical term for it is dwarfism. And I don't mean an insult when you say it, but some people do take it as an insult. There's also words like midget, who people will take as an insult. I'm the word I'm going to use is dwarf because it's a scientific term. Okay, and I don't want to call someone a little person. All right. So we know what we're talking about now. About a year ago, Peter Dinklage was doing a podcast interview, and he kind of brought it up that man, they're trying to be progressive with who they cast when it comes to the Snow White character and the lead. But then look what they're doing, man, when it comes to the dwarves. And this isn't the Stone Ages. We're not like cave people type thing. He was speaking on misrepresenting people who are of his stature, okay, who share that, and the roles he's been taking a lot of times were not that. If you can think about Stryker, not William Stryker, no, there was another word. There was another character from the X-Men in Days of Future Past. But there was that scientist that he played. It is what it was. I still think every role I've seen him in, they reference his height. Even Avengers Infinity War, when he was playing the giant dwarf, which was funny. But the elf he played in the Christmas movie with Elf, and he was always a height freaking reference thing, and it was always an odd thing when you saw Tyrion Lannister. He's got no height, and they would scoff at him. It is an identity that is unique. It is rare. It is worth mentioning because it's a thing that is unique, right? It's not everyone has that. It's so rare. Now, if once we can get past that, we can give a character a nuance. That's all good. So why not do that with the dwarves? Yeah, there's this one grumpy dwarf, right? How did he get like that? Maybe a flashback to explain everything. I used to be like one of you guys. The beginning of the movie, he gives you that. Now, not every dwarf is going to get focused because the enemy of representation is quantity. Sleepy not Sleepy, Dopey, the one who sleeps a lot, the one who I used on my thumbnail. That guy could be asleep the whole movie. It could be comedic relief for they got to move from one scene to another and they drag him along. Hey, wake up. Huh? Okay. And then he gets up and leaves. But that grumpy guy, man, you could have the happy dwarf being all supportive and all over Snow White. And then, hey, come on, cheer up, lighten up. Hey, no, those my days are over. And then he tells him how he got this way. And then maybe at the end of the movie, after the climax, everyone's happy, Snow White's safe, and puts his hands in his pocket. He looks over to the side. Crack, maybe slightly shows a little bit of teeth, slightly, and then we go, oh, the grumpy dwarf just okay, there we go, and we could cheer for him. I'm not joking in the slightest. I do mean that. What's up, Zang Beto? What's up, Mad Max? The dwarf situation isn't a hate situation or anything. Taking away their job, their likeness for what? For CGI's versions of those characters like the Oompa Loompa, that's a problem. I guess the Loki season 2 trailer came out today. No, Mad Max, I wasn't going to, but I will now. Now that I know the trailer's out, I just saw the poster. I didn't know there was a trailer that was out also. Since you're a member and you dictate the show, I'm gonna share screen. I'm just gonna go straight into the Marvel talk because I don't want to be late on a trailer reaction. Okay, it came out an hour ago. Let's see here. Let me share the screen. I gotta plug in my headphones actually. Damn. Sorry for not being prepared, but I didn't know this trailer was gonna come. The dwarf situation, that's my entire thoughts of it though. Like it's about a field. It's about a field of people who don't get much chances. And I don't care that Peter Dinklage said what he said, changing everything because of that interview. Oh no, we're not hateful people. We'll get rid of the dwarves. No, you dummy. And I don't like that Peter Dinklage. When I look back at his filmography and some of the roles he take, they're not very nuanced, right? I want to hear what he says now. I want to hear if he backtracks on that, or if he converts to what I just told you and said, I didn't say not to have dwarves. I just said not to make them flat and give them more character. I disagree with this. I stand with the other people who've been speaking out. I saw Wee Man do an interview. I had to watch that after my video with Rosales yesterday on his Sunday wrap up, where we talked about the situation there. Just seen the trailer, it was fine. All right, let's see what this trailer has in store for me. I'm gonna share the screen. Y'all see it? Play. Nope. Let me switch headphones. I didn't do that yet. Now I can play.
OB? Hello?
What's in here?
We have a little bit of a situation we wanted to run by you.
Mobius! Wow!
Okay.
Great to see you again.
Hey.
That's what's been happening.
That's not supposed to happen. That's
Time slipping.
time slipping.
You know that?
Yeah,
You've seen that?
yeah.
Can you fix that?
No. It's impossible to time slip in the TVA.
I know, but we
So
just
why does it
saw
just
it
happen?
happen.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Michael Waldron changing his logic.
Time between the past and the present.
Hello?
Okay.
If
fine.
what I saw is true, there's nothing that stands between this world and utter destruction.
Okay. That's
Only one way to
Jonathan
find
Majors.
out.
That's the Kane
A
character.
little good old-fashioned legwork. Listen, we have different styles. You're a man of
1980s.
action, which is fine. I take a more slow, deliberate, cerebral approach. It's really goodbye.
October 6th.
It's
There's
up to
not
us
black people that long ago just
to
living their
save
lives.
this place.
Is this cracked? Is it?
Whatever we do, we're playing God.
Yeah.
We are gods.
Yeah. God, I hate that word. Okay. Can I see Kane, please?
How do you choose? Who lives and who dies?
Hey.
Make the
Ramona.
hard choice.
It's him.
You
better
run!
War is on its way.
We kind of knew that scene.
Out of mischief.
We kind of knew the Jonathan Majors scene because of Quantumania.
Always have been. Always will be.
Ah, I like the transition. That transition was cool.
A little over the top, don't you think? I thought it was spot on.
I'm really not interested though, because I'm not into these alternate reality stuff. Some people really like Loki and they claim it's one of the best of the Disney Plus era shows. I'm just watching like, how does this at all affect the rest of the MCU? What is the MCU anymore? Without the Avengers movie to regroup on every single time, what is it? To me, the MCU used to be like used to be the 3 movies, go to the Avengers, 5 movies, different hero, go to the Avengers, introduce some new people, we link back up at the Avengers. That's the way I would have always wanted it. But to get Loki, who's going to be time traveling and stuff, no reference to the Deadpool stuff, which Deadpool has a goal. He's going to be the guy who links mutants and Wolverine and those guys, the X-Men guys, to the rest of Marvel. So Wolverine, the Deadpool 3 franchise is doing something. This furthers nothing. This is just, we're going to twiddle our thumbs for 5 episodes, and then on the 6th episode, we'll get, the threat of Kang. I don't see Kang very much here. It doesn't look like Kang is part of the show. And is that serious here? Kang is supposed to be the big threat. There's a movie called Avengers Kang Dynasty. It builds to it. It's got nothing to do with Moon Knight. It's got nothing to do with the Hawkeye show. I don't think anything in Agatha House of Harkness, Coven of Darkness, is going to matter to this here. It's a show. Waldron is not a good writer. I heard you say that. Yeah. Since Endgame, there's no direction. No new Kang scenes, exactly. And they almost kind of like or ashamed of it, where he was all in dark this whole time. And then we get this. That's him. It's really him. Sorry for not being amped, but for Ahsoka, I am. I would love to see the Ahsoka show and react to the trailer like that, and just look at what they're building on, things that were set up in Rebels that's going to be built on. I can't do that for this trailer. What has been set up that I should be like celebrating that's going to be back? The characters like her. What was her name? She something. She had a funny name. What about this character here? Renslayer, Ramona, right? She's interesting, but that's about all. She's an interesting character. Interesting, like what is she doing here? I wonder how she's blending in at this time period. It's like there's questions that I ask, but still, what does it matter to what Steve and what Tony did? How does the Hulk be affected by this character here, as well as Doctor Strange and Thor and Wong and Captain Marvel? I don't know. I just don't know. That's my position on the Marvel stuff. You want to get into the meat and potatoes, though? Why I'm really here? Jonathan, you want to get into the meat and potatoes of why I'm really here? Zack Snyder. This man tweeted a little post. It was simple. All he wanted to do was plug the Blue Beetle show. He said, listen, it's going to be representation matters. And I go, oh, that's great. And if you read some more stuff, this is just an ad. Can you believe what he's saying? Hey, this guy sold us out. What's going on with Zack Snyder? Hey, representation matters. Wait a minute here. It's about good story. What's really important is a good movie. Shut up. You've been, and to the ones I'm telling to shut up, they've been conditioned. Shouts out to Snyder, exactly. They've been conditioned to believe that something that has to do with representation. So, like anyone who's not a white guy, who've been underrepresented in these lead roles with big budget movies, so that basically the rest of the world who doesn't have that appearance. In comes this Latin American community superhero, okay? Believe he's Mexican, Jaime Reyes. I believe the actor is also, at least his lineage is from there, okay? We don't get a lot of that. It's very nice to have that. He's going to expose his daughter, his kids to that representation. Look, we always go to the movies, kid, and it happens to always be like Barbie, who's white, or Oppenheimer, and that's all white. And then there's Mission Impossible was just out. That was a white movie. And then Indiana Jones, and you're like, damn, there's an abundance of it, and they're kind of overrepresenting what the population of the world is. You know, superheroes save the world. Part of the world is that place a little bit south from right here in the Americas where they all speak Spanish, exceptions of Brazil. But they don't really get that. And now they do. And what he wants to do is say, hey, listen, don't ever get it twisted, kid. This is part of the world that we live in. They are included. They are movie ticket worthy. They are getting up and getting celebrating and superhero worthy because this is the most popular film genre that there is. And one of the people who are represented in that genre for a 2-month window in theaters is the Blue Beetle. We're gonna check that out. Okay, Zack Snyder, I celebrate that. That's good thinking right there. And then in comes, well, you see, the movie's quality's got to be what? How does quality interfere with that? Unfortunately, they've been conditioned to believe that for these people who don't have good, adequate representation, frequent representation, these people who are not white people, usually getting them comes at the expense of somebody white. Whose fault is that? That's the studio's fault. I didn't need a single race swap in any movie that's ever happened. I don't need race swapping. I don't need white people to cry, the world is against us. Look, and then have some validity when they say, no, we're being replaced. Why in the world would you empower people who don't want good, who are trying to call people to their negativity, and then you're giving them excuses, which is true. There are roles that are being lost. A few times they are in the lead role too, like The Little Mermaid, which Ariel is going to return to being a white Ariel all over again. You go to Disney World right now and see the Ariel right now that they have. It's a white woman. So it's a very Caucasian Ariel with the red hair and everything. There's another one that they kind of got in for this season. Enjoy her while she lasts in her less expensive dress Enjoy that one, sure. And she's a little bit darker than what Halle Bailey looks like. Enjoy it, but it's not a permanent. It's not the actual true representative. I don't. I don't want for race swaps and stuff like that. In comes the Blue Beetle. So quality, good storytelling has nothing to do with people's likenesses. They're separate, especially when the actual character who's being adapted looks that way. His family looks that way. If you're mad that George Lopez's character said Batman's a fascist, just say so because you identify with fascism and that's your thing. Just say it. That's all. Just say that it irked you because that word delegitimizes your cause politically. Just say that. Tom Cruise said The Flash was good too, similar to Zack Snyder's endorsement, right? So maybe there is a little bit of payment structure going out, or maybe Zack Snyder just really cares. I don't know the answer to that. I can look at the Rebel Moon casting. Y'all hear me? Or did the volume just change? I can look at the Rebel Moon casting and see who he got for his lead character, and I can see that okay, this person's from Algerian descent. Nice, you're doing something. I respect it. Maybe you are really about that. Maybe when you actually have the control to cast, which you do for this Netflix thing, and you didn't have for DC, you could switch things up. Zack Snyder seems to be about that life, and that's okay. And that's got nothing to do with the film's quality. It is not a conflicting value that the movie has to be good, and then the way that the people look also. These things can both can be true and both can be false. They could be bad movies with all white people, or bad movies with no white people, or good movies with no white people, and good movies with all white cast. Oppenheimer. They're not conflicting ideals. Now the people asking for Latin heroes that don't show up to Blue Beetle can blame themselves. See, yeah, that's tricky. I know. Listen, the population breakdown of the United States right now is very Latin American. If they know how to market it, which is going to be tricky with the writer's strike and the actor's strike, where the actors can't promote. There's no late night shows. There's no even sports right now. NFL preseason is going to start pretty soon, but still, it's going to be hard to promote that. You got to do like a campaign the same way Barbie and Oppenheimer did the Barbenheimer thing, which was totally a campaign. I'm just saying. Zack's kids aren't all white either. I mean, Asian kids, white. The difference is the way that the eyelid wrinkles. It's fine. They're not all white. I know by our terms, they're not right. We need more Japanese heroes on screen. Why not? I'm not opposed to this. That likeness is also underrepresented. Their skin tone may match, and their skin tone may make for a profitable Chinese release. But yeah, we need more Japanese. Jaime Reyes is more popular than the OG Blue Beetle. Also, I think so because of Young Justice. Still, again, with when it comes to Blue Beetle, Blue Beetle used to be a white guy. Now here he comes with these Mexicans taking our jobs. I don't like that. I don't like giving that. Mr. Terrific has that also, right? There's something about that we need to get rid of. We need to have all unique ideas, heroes that don't have baggage or a former history or the nickname once belonged to another. Just originality is the way to go, if you ask me. My kid needs to see themselves represented. Not really, but they do like Bruce Lee movies, even though he's Chinese. I would tell you, I'm not gonna tell you what. I'll say it anyways, Trinity, because I know you don't care. I would say that your kids needing to see themselves represented isn't as important as your kids needing to know that not only white people are movie worthy of these big budget films that the world talks about with all the posters on the bus stops or that you drive by. When it's all white people, white people, white people, they're going to get the idea that, oh, this is the white man's world and we're just living in it. As opposed to when we have diverse looking people who are in our multimedia, rich, expensive franchises, they don't get that anymore. So it's not that they need to see themselves. I feel like when you say that, you know what a straw man argument is? You can knock that down. People need to see themselves. Yeah, I can knock that down easily. What I need is the exclusion to end and the white supremacy to be addressed, or the white, yeah, I do mean white supremacy, but I'll use another word. The white inclusion and the exclusion of everyone else needs to not be present. There's no joking in 2023. When Killmonger is recasted in you stupid. I'm not reading that, Tony. We hear you. Okay, thanks. As critical as I am of Zack, I think he's being genuine here. He isn't back at DC, dude. Just appreciate film. He just appreciates film, or he appreciates representation. I think that this supersedes all of that nonsense he went through with Walter Hamada and them, who are gone. It's really just James Gunn and Peter Safran. That's over. I think the value of getting this superhero is more important than that. His grudge is over. I mean, the cast for Aquaman is basically his cast, right? So what does he got to be mad about anymore? There's only one more movie left in DC, and it's his type of people. So we're good. That's ship has sailed. I don't think I'll ever talk about Ezra Miller after this. This might be the last time I ever mention the dreaded name Ezra Miller. I have to get used to saying Ezra Bridger because of Ahsoka. I miss Snyder. I wouldn't say that. I'm not much of a big Snyder guy. Most films cast are diverse and have plenty of representation. Not in the lead. Yeah, you beat me. I was gonna cut in to say not in the lead because before I read what you just said. Yeah, exactly. Mikasa from Attack on Titan. They took her jobs. You know where I was going with that. I did that for K-Dot, but I guess you understood it too. As long as the content is good, I couldn't care less about the race of the characters. I would say that I care about the race of the characters a lot. I don't go to a Superman movie expecting diversity. Give me Superman. Make sure that the editor at his newspaper job is white also, and everyone is just the Caucasianist of Caucasian, including Brainiac. You don't got to get diverse and hire somebody differently just so you can fill that quota. It's fine. Everyone's white. But now that you got really white, hey, how about Icon and Rocket? How about a static film? How about a trilogy featuring Mr. Terrific? Anybody but Jon Stewart, because Jon Stewart is replaceable, is expendable, as the prior years have taught us. Mi casa, su casa. South Park. I love white people. White people are phenomenal people. Great people in that group. There's a lot of great advancements made from these people who got a skin tone that's a bit lighter than what mine looks like, and because their lineage is from a place where there wasn't much sun, kind of cloudy up across the pond, and the skin got the way that got, but they're descendants of the South. Yes, those people are great people. Sure, absolutely. Them dominating media is an issue when they dominate media and they exclude. And if it was the other way around, I'd speak to the importance of it too. Needlessly, race and gender swapping is lame. Indeed, I grew up enjoying and appreciating films and shows with all races: westerns, kung fu flicks, black exploitation, Hispanic, maybe less so Bollywood. But Bollywood is very creative. Never got into Bollywood. Never cared to. It's kind of weird. The dancing, singing a song, and all that. That wasn't my thing. The first couple times I watched it, I would always change the channel. Wasn't my thing. Chris Hemsworth is the best. What is that? Is that a joke? Chris and I share the same birthday. There's 365 days. It's yes, you share the birthday with somebody. I share the birthday with people too. And you ever go on the websites and be like putting your birthday to find out, oh, am I the same birthday as Obama? Or yeah, that's cool. Everybody put your most famous celebrity who you share a birthday with, because everyone does it. So Dwarves, Marvel trailer, and Zack Snyder. It's not an issue. It's not a conflicting issue. 7,365,000,000. Do the math. When I think of Zack Snyder now, I'm going to think of this guy as like an advocate for representation. I'm going to watch Ray Fisher be cast in every movie, but I'm also going to watch what else he does after a tweet like this. He seems like he's conscious. Some people say, well, I don't want to be the white savior, and I know it's definitely not my place. Nah, F that. If you have the means and a studio like Netflix is coming to you and saying, here, Zach, create something, and you choose, who my lead is going to be, that likeness. That's a good thing. That is a very good thing. And I have to commend him. And when he says something about the Blue Beetle, I'm going to take his word for it. And I'm not going to think it's just some sort of like advertisement. Maybe it's just a thing he's doing for his buddy James Gunn. They worked on a movie back in 2008 together. Maybe. It was before 2008. It was 2006. Maybe. But I'm giving him the fact that he cares. He cared enough to word it that way. He cares enough to show his kid a Latino superhero. That's how you change the world, baby. It's $100 million budget, roughly. The marketing will be what the marketing is, but still, the movie being a success doesn't need as much money as something like Quantumania would have needed. So if this movie does make 400 million, we're gonna look at it like, hey, it succeeded. It did what it needed to do. If it becomes a cultural phenomenon as well, that's a win. Bollywood takes risks. You could say that. They take risks, sure. Why are you live on a Monday morning? Oh, fine then. Why am I live on a Monday? Fine, I'll stop it then. Is that what you want?